Welcome to another video from the channel Manifest Bliss. Today, you're about to dive deep into a powerful journey about how to build real spiritual self-esteem, the kind that comes from your soul, not from your reflection. Have you ever stopped to wonder where your true worth comes from? Is it your looks, your status? Or is there something deeper, something way more real inside you? Jung believed that true self-worth comes from the soul, not the image we show the world. And in today's video, you're gonna find out why spiritual self-love can totally change how you see yourself, how you feel, and how you connect with the world. If you've ever felt lost, disconnected, or stuck with low self-esteem, get ready to see yourself through a whole new lens. Before we jump in, smash that like button if you believe your soul has value. Drop a comment saying, "I accept myself," to declare your commitment to your truth. And most important, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, and share this video with someone who needs this message. This is your safe space for healing, awareness, and transformation. Stick around till the end to unlock your inner strength and start living with true authenticity. Carl Jung said that every human being carries around a persona, a social mask we create to fit into the outside world, to be liked, accepted, and feel like we belong. But behind that mask, there's something way more authentic, the soul. And Jung wasn't talking about the soul in a religious way. He meant the deep, inner truth that beats inside every single one of us. It's that invisible part of you that knows your purest desires, your oldest wounds, and your true worth. The problem is, from a really young age, we're taught to value only what's visible, looks, achievements, status, and we end up ignoring what we feel deep down. That's what disconnects us from the soul. When we live on the surface, chasing validation through compliments, likes, and approval, or feeding the persona but starving the soul. Jung warned that ignoring your soul is the first step toward feeling empty inside, that hollow feeling that even when you have it all, something's still missing. Real self-esteem, according to him, starts when you have the guts to look at yourself without any masks, without fear of judgment, and get real about who you are at your core. Jung invites us into a quiet but powerful revolution, the kind where you look inward with radical honesty, where you realize your worth isn't tied to what you do for the world, but who you are when you're just sitting with yourself in silence. That's where real spiritual self-esteem lives. And once we understand that, there's one question that naturally pops up. How did we get so disconnected from our own soul in the first place? The answer lies in the invisible wounds we've been carrying since childhood. And that's exactly what we're about to dig into next. Most of us never really learned self-love. We were taught to chase approval. Since we were little, we were conditioned to tie our value to our looks, our achievements, or how well we behaved. If a kid only gets praised for good grades, good looks, or perfect behavior, they start believing they have to be perfect to be loved. And without even realizing it, they form an invisible wound, the belief that they're not enough just as they are. That wound follows us into adulthood, shaping our choices, our relationships, and even the way we see ourselves in the mirror. Carl Jung called this the shadow, the parts of ourselves we hide or deny because we're scared of rejection. The harder we try to shove down that shadow to seem strong, confident, and in control, the louder our soul cries out to be seen. That deep feeling of not enough comes from the gap between who we really are and who we pretend to be to win approval. That's why so many people feel empty even when they're surrounded by success, friends, or achievements, because nothing outside of us can heal what's broken inside. And that's exactly where spiritual self-esteem becomes essential. Jung shows us it's not about erasing our wounds, it's about shining light on them. We don't have to fix ourselves to be worthy. We just have to allow ourselves to be whole, light, shadow, flaws, and all. And when we start embracing that truth, we finally free ourselves from the constant need for approval. That's the inner freedom we're going to explore next. Spiritual awakening as the ultimate cure for wounded self-esteem. The real turning point in the journey toward self-esteem happens when we stop fighting against who we are, then start welcoming ourselves with open arms. That's the beginning of true spiritual awakening. For Carl Jung, healing isn't about rejecting your flaws, it's about integrating them with love. He used to say, we don't become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. And that means there's no real self-love without deep acceptance of the parts we usually try to hide. Awakening isn't some mystical, faraway thing. It's a shift in how you see yourself. It's when you stop asking, how can I be better? And start asking, who am I really when I'm at peace with myself? Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It's an act of compassion for everything we've lived, felt, and survived. When we accept ourselves, we break free from the prison of comparison, perfectionism, and endless self-criticism. And it's in that space of acceptance that the soul starts to bloom. We finally realize we're worthy of love exactly as we are. That our existence isn't about achievements, looks, or productivity. It's about being. Our worth is innate, divine, and deeply spiritual. This awakening completely transforms the way we relate to the world. We stop seeking approval and start vibrating authenticity. We stop trying to fit in and begin to occupy our own rightful space. And this becomes the solid foundation upon which spiritual self-esteem is built. Now that acceptance has opened the doors, it's time to take the next step. How can we strengthen this new self-esteem in a practical, deep, and continuous way? That's exactly what we're about to dive into. Keep your focus, because what you'll learn now can change not only how you see yourself, but how you live your life from this point forward, now that you understand the importance of acceptance and spiritual awakening. It's time to transform this understanding into action. Spiritual self-esteem is not something that appears overnight. It must be cultivated daily, like a plant that needs constant care to grow. The practice of self-acceptance and self-love strengthens when we incorporate daily rituals that connect us to our deepest essence. And the best part, these practices don't require anything outside of ourselves. only the willingness to look inward and honor who we truly are. Stay with me, because what comes next is a roadmap to solidify your spiritual foundation. One of the most powerful practices for cultivating spiritual self-esteem is meditation. By setting aside just a few minutes of your day to be in silence with yourself, you create a sacred space for your soul to reveal itself. Meditation not only helps reduce stress and anxiety, but it also allows us to connect with our deepest thoughts and emotions, bringing clarity about what truly matters. Moreover, moments of introspection provide the necessary self-understanding to heal the invisible wounds we talked about in the previous chapter. It is in the silence that your true strength whispers, and you will learn to hear it clearly. Another essential practice is the use of positive affirmations. But unlike the superficial affirmations often limited to physical aspects, spiritual affirmations focus on the truth that we are divine and complete beings. Something like, "I am worthy of love and respect exactly as I am," or "My soul is my guide, my value is eternal." Repeating these affirmations daily strengthens your connection to your essence, reducing the need for external validation. Each repetition is like a thread weaving a stronger bond between your human experience and your divine nature, creating an unshakable inner foundation. Finally, self-care, which goes beyond beauty routines or relaxation techniques, should be seen as an act of respect and honor toward your spiritual essence. Take time for what truly makes you feel at peace and connected with yourself. This includes practices like reading spiritual books, walking in nature, or even engaging in creative activities that nourish your soul. By treating self-care as a sacred ritual, you affirm your worth to yourself every day, and little by little, this nourishes an unbreakable self-esteem, rooted not in fleeting achievements, but in your eternal truth. These practices can transform your life, but what happens when you start seeing yourself as your own source of light? Let's explore this transformation now. As you begin practicing self-care, meditation, and spiritual affirmations, a deep transformation starts happening almost imperceptibly at first. Gradually, you begin to realize that your power lies not in doing or pleasing others, but in simply being who you are. This is the key to finding the inner strength that has always been within you, but was often overshadowed by external influences and the endless search for approval. Carl Jung believed that true strength comes from within, from the reconciliation between our visible and invisible parts, and from unconditional love for who we are, with all our shadows and lights. Therefore, spiritual self-esteem is not about seeking perfection, but about embracing our imperfections with courage and wisdom. When you allow yourself to be authentic and accept who you are, without being trapped by what society or others expect from you, an extraordinary power begins to emerge. You no longer need to hide or pretend, because you know your essence is more than enough. This inner strength is immeasurable because it comes from recognizing that, unlike external validations, your value is intrinsic, eternal, and immutable. When you find this inner strength, there is a radical shift in how you relate to the world. Insecurities begin to diminish, and you become more resilient when facing life's challenges. The pressure to be perfect decreases because you now understand that your true strength comes from acceptance and self-love, not from meeting external expectations. The confidence you feel when you connect with your soul is incomparable and uncheckable. And by discovering and nurturing this strength, you prepare yourself to live with more purpose and clarity. Stay with me, because next, we'll explore how to live a life of full authenticity without fear of being yourself. Once you begin to understand and integrate spiritual self-esteem into your life, the next phase of the journey is to live with authenticity. Living according to your true essence is what leads us to fulfillment. When you break free from the masks you once used to protect yourself and start expressing yourself genuinely, the world around you also begins to align with your truth. This is true freedom. It's not about pleasing everyone or fitting into molds pre-established by society. It's about being faithful to who you really are in every aspect of your life. And that authenticity not only sets you free, but also attracts everything that resonates with your true energy. Authenticity brings with it a peace that does not depend on external factors. By accepting and living according to your divine nature, you attract into your life situations, people, and opportunities that resonate with your true frequency. The spiritual journey is not a path of constant struggle against who you are. It is a path of surrender and connection with your essence. You are no longer seeking approval or trying to fit in, because you realize that you are already enough exactly as you are. When you live authentically, you allow yourself to be vulnerable, which paradoxically brings immense strength. Vulnerability is not weakness, but an expression of courage and trust. You allow yourself to make mistakes, to learn, to grow, and above all, to be human. And it is this process of self-acceptance and true expression that opens the doors to a life rich in meaningful experiences and deep relationships. Living authentically is ultimately embracing the purpose of your existence. As you reconnect with your divine essence, you not only find peace and happiness, but also discover an inner strength that empowers you to be the best version of yourself. Now that you are ready to live your truth, let's explore how to maintain this authenticity and live with greater purpose. Maintaining authenticity amidst the chaos of modern life may seem challenging, but it is essential for staying connected to your true essence. We live in a world that constantly offers us new masks to wear, whether through social pressure, family expectations, or comparisons on social media. However, the daily practice of living authentically requires continuous effort not to be carried away by external distractions. This means having the courage to say no when something does not resonate with your values, and equally, having the courage to say yes when something brings joy and aligns with your life mission. Maintaining authenticity also means establishing clear boundaries. When you know yourself deeply and understand what is essential for your inner peace, it becomes easier to say no to situations, people, or commitments that are not in tune with who you are. It is not about rejecting the world, but about honoring your journey and your sacred space. Setting boundaries is a sign of self-respect, and by doing so, you create a sacred space for your authenticity to flourish. Additionally, the daily practice of gratitude is fundamental to staying focused on what truly matters. By acknowledging the blessings you already have and celebrating the small victories of everyday life, you maintain a positive mindset aligned with the purpose of your existence. Gratitude rebalances the heart and keeps energy flowing healthily, preventing you from falling into the trap of constant dissatisfaction. Finally, living with purpose means not living on autopilot. It involves being present in each moment and making conscious decisions that align with your deepest values. Every step you take should be an intentional choice to live more authentically and meaningfully. Now, with these practices, you're ready to dive even deeper into your journey of self-discovery and live with a clear purpose. See how spiritual connection goes beyond self-esteem, creating a profound impact on your life. Spiritual self-esteem is just the beginning of a much larger journey. When you reconnect with your essence, something extraordinary happens. Your perception of life transforms. You stop seeking validation and begin to see the world in a deeper way, understanding that everything happening around you reflects your inner state. Carl Jung said that what you resist persists, and that the outer world is a mirror of your inner world. This means that by healing your relationship with yourself, you also begin to transform the way you experience life. Spiritual connection is not limited to meditations or rituals, but is present in how you choose to live every day. It lies in your ability to accept the present. Act with compassion and trust that there is a greater purpose guiding every experience. You realize that challenges are not punishments, but opportunities for growth. True spirituality does not seek ready-made answers, but fosters a continuous connection with your inner truth. And this truth manifests in small changes that make all the difference. You stop fighting against who you are and start allowing yourself to simply be. You become more patient with your processes, kinder to yourself, and more confident in your decisions. Life begins to flow more lightly because your self-esteem is no longer based on something fragile and fleeting, but on a solid, unshakable foundation, the awareness that you are already complete, exactly as you are. With this awakened consciousness, we consolidate this entire journey and leave a special invitation for you to take this learning into your life. Throughout this journey, we explored a powerful truth. Self-love is not a destination, but a continuous path of returning to yourself. Carl Jung showed us that we are only truly free when we become conscious of who we truly are, and that consciousness begins with the deep acceptance of our own essence. When you understand that your worth comes from your soul, not from appearances, everything changes. Insecurity gives way to confidence, comparison loses its grip, and you finally find peace in being who you are, without masks, without guilt, and without fear. Spiritual self-esteem is the foundation for a life that is aligned, meaningful, and abundant. It's not about feeling good all the time, but about developing the ability to embrace yourself even on the hardest days. When you look at yourself with compassion and honor your journey, even your wounds turn into wisdom. And it's precisely at that moment that you become whole, not because you are perfect, but because you accept every part of yourself with love and presence. True strength lies not in hiding your flaws, but in recognizing them as sacred chapters of your personal story. Embracing yourself fully means opening space for inner peace, authenticity, and an unwavering connection to your divine essence. Allowing your light to shine without fear or shame. Now, the invitation is simple yet profound. Bring this knowledge into your everyday life. Let every choice you make reflect your inner truth. May your words be born from your soul, not from your ego. Remember always that you are already enough. Your worth does not need to be earned. It only needs to be remembered. When you honor who you truly are, you align with the powerful energy of authenticity, and the universe responds by opening paths that were previously hidden. You begin to walk with more lightness, more clarity, and more love for yourself and for the world around you. In each moment, choose to honor your journey, your essence, and your divine purpose. The world needs your authentic light shining brightly just the way you are. And if this message touched your heart, share it with someone who also needs to remember their own inner light. Like this video, comment down below with the words, "I accept myself," and subscribe to continue this journey of self-knowledge and spirituality. Because when you value yourself from the inside out, the entire universe starts to conspire in your favor. Your healing journey begins with a simple act of self-acceptance, and from there, the miracles start to unfold. Let's continue together, transforming pain into strength, wounds into wisdom, and doubt into pure faith in the beauty that lives within you.